I do want to preface this by saying they're not a real cult, which I know makes it sound like that's
Sounds
what a
like a
cult would
cult.
say. They're not actually a cult, though, I swear. Cold Beet Soup is a podcast for casual fans who want to explore lore and fandom rabbit holes in music and gaming.
And are sad sometimes.
And we're live.
Welcome to Cold Beet Soup. Happy Halloween.
We
Oh,
dre- we
shit.
we dressed up as sad people.
I dressed up as a clown. That's how I feel at work every day. I'm just kidding, mostly.
Are you?
I think about that meme. You know that Animal Crossing one that's on my Discord server? That's the
Mm.
one I've been this close to making my profile picture many times.
You should.
I've thought about it. Or the Hello Kitty, I'm at my limit.
Mm.
I sent that one to my friend today because yeah, I
You're
was
at
at my
your limit.
limit. I'm at my limit. But I'm really excited about the topic today. I was listening to Ghost actually today, and I realized how much I like the band as I was working on this. Something really cool is they just announced their 2025 tour, like literally Monday of this week. So you guys get the latest scoop if you haven't heard already, but they're going on tour in 2025. It's their world tour. They redacted the name, which heavily implies that a new album is going to come out. And as you saw in the thumbnail, one of the Papa Emeritus, we don't know who he is yet. Yet. So it's very exciting. Oh, you're going to know what all this means by the end of this presentation.
I'm just sitting here like, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I know some of these words.
I know like
So let
one
me,
song by them.
yeah. And we're actually going to talk about that song as well because it has some lore stuff a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen now. Woo!
Wow.
Wow.
If you all
And
notice, we're not on Discord right now because Discord decided to freeze before we even started recording.
but that's okay. That is a silver lining because it happened before we even started
Mm-hmm.
versus happening in the middle of the episode and us having to switch over. Like,
Yep.
I'm glad that this happened early. I see it as a blessing in disguise because, yeah. Okay, so I can't see you anymore.
Ah,
Um,
finally.
oh, anyways,
All
no,
around me,
I'm
a
doing okay.
familiar face.
I just start crying. I don't even start the presentation. I just start crying. Um, so Ghost, um, yeah, we're gonna talk about the entire lore, start to finish. Before I even get into the presentation, I wanted to give a shout out to a guy on YouTube named Chronicle Ghoul. He made a couple of videos covering the lore, but the most important video for my research of all the ones he did was the one where he covered Right Here, Right Now, which is a movie that Ghost released that actually went to theaters and it came out in June. And there isn't a lot of content about it. So his video actually covers what happens in the movie. And that was really helpful because I didn't go see the movie.
There's a movie?
Um, what?
There's a movie?
Yeah, they had a movie in June. It's like a concert movie.
Mm.
So it's like a concert, but then um when he goes backstage, some like that you get a little bit of story as well.
Mm.
And then they also came out with a new song at the end of it. And after the credits rolled, there was extra lore stuff. So it was like concert and lore. Um I heard it was really cool. I wish I wasn't so anxious and just went by myself, but yeah, I didn't do that. So, but that's okay because now I know what happens, so it's fine. But yeah, so big shout out to him for making that video because then I got that context. And then the Ghost subreddit had a really nice timeline that I used as well. So Reddit never fails. So before even swapping slides, the Ghost logo you see on the left, but the little logo on the right is actually the logo of the clergy. So the clergy is the satanic cult that Ghost comes from. Now, this is why we're talking about this on
Oh,
Halloween.
I'm gonna
What?
leave now. Sorry, satanic stuff. I can't listen to it. Mm-mm.
La la la
La,
la.
la, la. The whole time I'm just sitting here like la, la, la,
You're
la, la.
like, Jesus loves me. So I do want to preface this by saying they're not a real cult, which I know makes it sound like that's
Sounds
what a
like a
cult would
cult.
say. They're not actually a cult though, I swear.
You're
As
like,
I'm
oh,
like
I have
wearing the
a.
shirt and
You're
like
like,
I'm
I
like
have a
they're not.
meeting to get to.
Yeah, this is actually they told me if I did this that I would ascend to the next level. So no, they're not though. And I know they're just you can't really beat the
Can I
allegations.
Google it real quick?
Sure, Google
Okay, hold
it.
on.
There
Let me Google real quick.
is Ghost a cult. Please don't click on any like Christian websites. They're gonna be like, absolutely. Their music is troubling the youth's minds. I mean, I don't think it's like look,
So,
I'm fine.
from the
What?
truthbook.com,
Oh Jesus. Oh my God. Okay, what does
the
it say?
ghost cult involves evolved as an offset to the hazard of bad luck. Its primitive religious observations were the outgrowth of anxiety about bad luck and the inordinate fear of the dead.
What is that? That's not even this is a band.
Is the band go satanic? Let's see.
Yeah, because I'm a little, I don't know what that is. That sounds like a whole other thing. Because that has nothing to do with the band at all. So
Is
I
Ghost
don't.
a problematic band?
It's yeah,
Says Ghost is one of the most inclusive bands out there.
hell yeah, damn
Why
right.
is the
They want
band Ghost controversial?
well because they sing about satanic themes. I
Who
think
is the
that's
Ghost
why.
cult?
Oh my God. Can I present or
Sorry. I just want to make sure you're not in a cult. The first step is
do you feel safe
recognizing
about it
you're in a
now? Do
cult.
you feel like I'm not in a
No,
cult
did you
now?
not hear what the truthbook.com said?
That's not even the same. I don't know what that is. Like they that's a whole other thing.
The truth
I don't
never
know.
lies.
Yeah, truth book. Oh
Dot
God.
com.
Okay. Anyways, so this is
This is the. Were you gonna say this is the cult?
this is my leader. You doing okay? God.
I'm sorry. It's just when someone says it's not a cult.
I know. But how are you supposed to like there's no way to win, really, right? Like you can't say like, "Oh yeah, it is," when it actually isn't. It's just the lore behind the band. It's not the guy that made it is like a normal dude who is just like some chill Swedish dude.
You know who had a cult?
Who?
The leader of 30 Seconds to Mars?
Oh Lord. Yeah, what's his name? Gosh.
Gerald.
Um
Jared. No. Leto? Leto?
Jared Leto. Oh, you mean Morbius?
It's morbid.
It's Morbin time. Yeah, I remember when we went to that premiere. That
Yeah,
was
I'm so
an
happy we saw that for
experience.
free.
Me too. I feel like they knew deep inside. They're like, we're not gonna get people to pay for
Mm.
this. Um, but yeah, so the background story is that there's this group known as the clergy. It's ran by someone named Sister Imperator, and we're gonna talk about her more in a bit. And this satanic cult, they've been known to operate since the 1960s. Um part of being a cult is you want to spread the message, right? So they decided to create public relations, which is Ghost. So they're like, oh, we should make this band, and this band will, tour and perform a bunch of music and spread our message, and then we'll get more followers. And that was the whole like
So that's how
kind
Ghost
of
started? The cult create.
no, no. This is part of the lore.
Okay,
How
okay.
Ghost actually started, I'll talk
Okay,
about
okay, okay.
later. But lore-wise, this is what happens. 'Cause the Ghost actually started in 2010. So the 1960s thing isn't even accurate. It's just part of the like story that they created.
Mm,
So the band itself consists of Papa Emeritus, who you see in the front, and then there are the nameless ghouls. And the reason why the band is made up this way is because the guy who came up with this project, his name is Tobias Forge, and we're going to talk about him more as well. But he's a Swedish guy. He like writes all the music. He's like the brain behind this whole thing. But obviously, like when you're on stage, you can't play every instrument at once. So he hires musicians to go on tour with him. And sometimes he's even had to swap musicians like in the middle of a tour.
mm,
So having these nameless schools, you don't know who they are, so it makes it very easy because it's just, hey, you're gonna perform, these songs, blah blah blah. And Tobias has played every single Papa Emeritus from the beginning. So the guy you see at the front in the makeup is actually Tobias.
mm,
Um, so so yeah, and he came out with the band in 2010. I'll talk about that in a little bit. The way I want to cover the lore for Ghost is just through like a timeline, basically.
mm,
Um, there's like five eras. Well, there's an era zero as well, so technically six eras. Um, but the first era is the only era that is not sequential. Everything else after that is sequential. Um, so for example, getting to the slide will probably help. Era zero is considered the 1960s. I'm putting in air quotes because the actual release of this album was in 2019.
mm,
But according to the lore, this album was released in 1969. But every album after this is like, sequential 2010, 2012, blah, blah, blah. I think the reason why they did it this way is he started the band, he wasn't sure if it was gonna, do well or not, and it continued to grow and grow. So he's like, okay, time to do some world building, and then, went back and covered some stuff. So this Era Zero, the album that was released was 7 Inches of Satanic Panic. It's funny to call it an album though, because it's only two songs. So it's Mary on a Cross and Kiss the Go Goat. And these two songs were written by Papa Nihil, and he is like the OG Papa Emeritus. Um, and we're going to talk about him, how he came to be. So Papa Nihil, this is a picture, actually like a screenshot from a music video, um, completely separate music video where they just kind of decided to dive into the story of how Papa Nihil came to be. Basically, the story is he goes to a satanic party. He meets Sister Imperator, who is the blonde woman you see in the screenshot, and they, become romantically interested. And that's kind of how that's like the TLDR basically, is they become romantically interested, and that's how Papa Nihil kind of joins the clergy. So you see in the picture he has a white eye.
mm,
And how that happens is because also you can see in this, you see the white eye as well. So every single Papa has a white eye. And I was curious about this because I did notice that, and I'm like, where did that come from? Because in the music video, Sister Imperator like punches him in the eye, and then he has the white eye. So even when he met her, he didn't have it. She like marks him with it. Um, so the funny story is there is like no actual in-universe explanation for this. Tobias said in an interview that he wanted to do two white eyes, but when he was wearing the contacts, one of them would always fall off. So he couldn't keep them both in. So he ended up just doing one eye because he could only keep one contact in. And that's like the story. Um, I think the only other like lore explanation is that it's, the genetic signature because every other papa that comes after him has the white eye.
Mm.
And maybe they'll explain it more later on. But for now, that's the only explanation we have. So once he gets marked with this eye, he becomes, Papa Emeritus officially. And he's known as Papa Emeritus Zero. So, being with Sister Imperator, she tells him to be the lead, front runner of Ghost. So he performs live um, at I don't remember what they called the show, but it was like some live performance. And during the performance, Sister Imperator, like camera pans over to her and she like rubs her belly, kind of insinuating that she's pregnant with Papa Nihil's child. And Papa Nihil didn't know that she was watching the show. And at the end of the song, he was performing Kiss the Go Goat. He kisses a woman in the crowd. That's the screenshot I put on the slide.
Mm.
So he's a little hoe, and she sees that, and he looks up. He's like, "Oh shit!" And she storms off. And then after this performance, you don't hear anything from Ghost until 2010. And in 2010, Ghost uh releases 4 demos on MySpace. You remember MySpace? I
Yeah,
remember
I love
MySpace.
MySpace.
These youngins don't know. Isn't that
Mm-mm.
crazy how like a whole generation now doesn't know about MySpace?
Dude, you're making me
Think
feel
about it.
old.
But think about I mean, same here. Like this predates Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is crazy. So the story behind this, so Tobias, he he always had a passion for music. Um he Someone in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I recall, he had tried like a couple of different bands, like different style of bands as well, none of them ever being like super successful. And this ghost project was his last kind of, he's like, I'm going to give it one more shot. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, like, whatever, I tried. So he posted 4 demos on MySpace, and they took off, and the rest is history. So um, people really liked it. Um, and then he released his first album. So that's era number one from 2010 until 2012. So he released a demo in March 2010, and then October 2010 is when the actual album came out. It's called Opus Eponymous. Um, the theme of this album is that there's an evil coming, but Ghost is the false prophet for it. So they'll tell you all about it. And they also mention, because like in religion, they have the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, Holy
Mm.
Spirit. There's also the unholy Trinity, which is the Antichrist, Satan, and the false prophet. And they talk about that as well. So they definitely cover some like satanic themes in their music, but it's not like, I mean, you know me, I grew up really religious, and I mean, I'm not religious now, but even listening to this, I'm not like, yeah, let's start drawing pentagrams on the floor and like do a blood sacrifice and all that. To me, it's just like music, and he's really creative with
Mm.
how he came up with this, because even like on stage, because I've seen them live on stage, it's really cool to see when he's dressed up as like Papa and stuff. Like you could tell he really likes doing it. And actually, listening to interviews of him, you just wouldn't expect him. He's just like so chill,
Does he
like
have a
just a
British
really
accent?
no, he's Swedish.
Oh, right,
So
Swedish.
yeah, he's got the Swedish accent for sure. Like when he speaks English, Swedes have a lot of them speak like their English is very good, but they have that like slight accent. You can tell. But yeah, he's just like a very like mellow, chill dude. He said he was inspired by like Kiss, or he had heard the song Love Gun by Kiss. And it's kind of like a similar type vibe, but yeah, I think it's really cool. And the reason why I'm talking about the themes of the different albums, I'm thinking about it from a lore perspective, where it's like it's a marketing thing, right? So cult is like, okay, let's talk about this first. Okay, let's pivot to this topic and just to see what's successful. And I just think it's really clever to do that because it's just the same as like any artist releasing an album, right? It's like,
Mm.
well, I'm going to talk about like this part, or maybe, when artists like pivot genres
Mm.
and then they see like, do people like it? Do people not like it? So I think it's a kind of similar thing where they talk about different topics. Um, but of course, with the new era, we need a new Papa because from 1969 to 2010, at this point, Papa Emeritus Zero is pretty old. So you have Papa Emeritus the first. He's the guy on the left. He is Papa Nihil's son. He makes his first appearance in Germany. They tour around Europe and Germany with this Papa. Um, there's not a lot known about him. There's actually not too much known about the first three Papas. Um, I think it's just because he didn't really have too much story to come up. It's like the band is so new that why am I going to build this whole backstory if I'm not sure that people are actually going to
Right.
care or like it? That's
So
that's
it's
my interpretation.
so these are just people who play characters on the stage as different papas,
Uh,
or is it
Tobias plays Papa,
so he put
but
like
the nameless ghouls are different musicians.
okay, so he puts like the one on the left looks old as hell, so he put on like
He puts on makeup and he's done like face masks
okay,
too.
okay.
Yeah, he's had like some serious like uh prosthetics, I think is what it is, right?
Mm.
Because he'll even like make
Yeah.
his face look a little bit different. So then people don't know who he is. So yeah, Papa One only existed really for like 2 years. I think it was December 2012 when he performed in Linköping, Sweden, which is where Tobias is from. And he steps down and hands over the title to his younger brother, Papa Emeritus II, who's the guy you see on the right. Personally, his makeup is my favorite. I like the like more skull looking
Mhm.
one. I think it looks really cool. And I like his robes. I feel like Papa One's kind of like Alibaba robes and then like or AliExpress. Like and then the one on the right's like, oh yeah, we got a little
Alibaba.
bit of I don't know why I thought
Is it
Alibaba. I meant to say
Alibaba and the Seven
AliExpress.
Thieves? Was that
I don't even know. I don't know where that came from. It's AliExpress, right?
AliExpress?
AliExpress.
Yes, or you could have said Sheen or Temu.
Timu. I've made Timu jokes before, so I didn't want to say Timu again.
Oh, it's
We'll
okay.
just cut that out and it'll be funny. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So yeah, with a new Papa, now we have a new era. So now we're on era number two. In this era, they released two albums. Now, technically, the one on the right, if you have Ghost, it's it's an album, but it's a cover album. So like most it's an EP too, so it's not super long. But most of the songs on there are covers of songs, with the exception of one live version of their song. The reason why I put this one on there, and you'll see a couple of the other cover albums on there, is because one of the cover albums does have significance in the lore. So for the sake of consistency, I put it in there. But because they have other albums, they have some they do compilation albums sometimes where they grab songs from different places and put them together. They have two live albums, but I didn't put those on there because from a story perspective, like they don't really matter. It's just them kind of repackaging their stuff in
Hmm.
a different way. So I just wanted to clarify that. Also, fun fact about If You Have Ghost, it was produced by Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. So I thought that was pretty
What
cool.
a
I didn't know that.
what a fun fact.
Think it's a fun. I like Dave Grohl. He's really talented, and I know he plays drums for one of those songs. I just don't remember which one. But he actually played the drums for one of them, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, so the actual album that came out, well, actual with more ghost songs was Infestus Sumam. So that's the one you see on the left. The theme pivots from kind of impending doom to sexual desire and the birth of the Antichrist. So it's like a hard pivot to something else. and you can, I mean, they got the baby on the cover, so it makes
That's a
sense.
baby?
Yeah, on the bottom,
Oh,
not the not the papa part, but the
it's a
bottom.
weird
That's
looking
definitely a
baby.
baby. Yeah, I mean, I think it's supposed to be the Antichrist, or so I'm trying to figure.
I've
I can
seen
never
the
understand what's.
Antichrist before. I don't know. It doesn't look good.
Mm. Maybe he's like in normal form. I don't know. Are their legs supposed to bend like that? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't have a
He's like
baby.
nibbling on his toes. Look at that.
I don't know.
Ugh.
Google baby nibbling on toes and see.
I don't want to do that. I don't want that in my history. Um, so many
I could
reasons.
call up my sister and see if her kid did that.
I just send her a picture of that baby. Be like, "Hey, did your son ever do this?" Asking for the pod.
Yeah, right.
This is research. Um, oh, one interesting thing, on that album cover, you see how it says Ghost BC?
Mm,
So there also, I noticed on this, when it's on the about, it says known as Ghost BC in the United States.
mm,
So this is really interesting. All I could find about this was that they were having some sort of legal trouble only in, not legal troubles, sorry. They said it was due to legal reasons in the US. So only in the US they had to add the BC, but I never found a lawsuit or any other explanation by the band. And I don't know if it's just because the name Ghost is so broad, maybe someone was having, making a fuss about it,
mm.
but that's just an interesting like tidbit. They said the BC stands for because of copyright. Or
Oh, before
before Christ.
Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to point it out because I listen to this music and I see the albums and I'm like, why is the BC there? Like, I don't understand why that's there. So yeah,
Mm,
it was only for that album that I saw it. So pivoting back to the lore, beginning in 2013, Ghost released a miniseries called Propaganda. Very clever name. The series had two episodes where they follow Papa Emeritus II, and he talked about his experience as a front man of Ghost. It's really interesting. He speaks in Italian, and I don't know if it's a kind of playing on like the Vatican type thing,
mm,
or speaking Italian, but he is definitely kind of seen as a bit of a partier. It almost seems like he's not taking the role too seriously. So now they're starting some world building a little bit more. And since he was being such a partier, not really helping the cause, he got replaced by his younger brother of 5 months on June 3rd, 2015, in Linköping, Sweden. And I realize now that I don't have a picture of Papa 3, but I actually do. Papa Emeritus III is this one. Because they
okay.
all have like slightly different makeup and stuff.
Mm,
So this is Papa Emeritus III, how he looks. Um, I guess I didn't put it on because it doesn't fit on the slide. Because this is my slide for era number 3 for Papa Emeritus III. There's two albums, Meliora, which is the one on the left, and Pope Star, which is the one on the right. Pope Star in this era is the cover album with cover songs on it. Meliora was actually the theme is the absence of God or faith, but there's a group with the answers that you should join. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
which
Um,
group is that?
anyways, this was the album where they started to like blow up a little bit. So they won best blah, blah, blah.
Ah, yes, yes. Ah,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Blah,
I know
blah, blah,
now.
blah. Obviously, like Sims Padabada, Shabadoo Bidabadoo. They won the best metal album of 2015 by various publications. They got their first Grammy for Seriously, which is
Ooh,
a single on the album. And that's the album cover I have on my shirt. See?
your mic is covering it.
Can you see? Can you see?
Wow.
Yeah, I got it from Sweden Rock. I was like, I want to commemorate Ghost. But I think it's like, I don't think because I know the album looks right, but this coloring is different. but I kind of like it, so no complaints from me. Um, so they're going around and touring, and when they are on tour, September 30th, 2017, Papa 3 gets pulled off stage, and an old Papa comes on stage. That's the guy you see on the slide here,
Looks like
and
me.
he call me every morning when I wake up. I'm like,
Right.
oh, my bones. Um, he comes on stage and he says in Italian, I am Papa Emeritus Zero. The party is over and now a new era begins. The Middle Ages begin now. It's like, oh shit, stuff's happening. So Papa Emeritus the Three, I guess he was kind of like a, I don't really know. I think he was kind of a energetic one as well, like an energetic lead for the band. Um, but this is an interesting time because technically, like Papa Emeritus Zero is stepping in, but like he's so old, like he can't continue to tour and be the face of Ghost. Like they definitely need a new Papa Emeritus. But the problem is that Papa Nihil or him, this old guy, he doesn't have any more sons. He doesn't have any more heirs. So who else is going to take over? And Sister Imperator does have a suggestion. But before I get into the suggestion, I want to talk about something sad. That's why I have a sad ghost on the slide.
Is it? Are we gonna talk about our days?
No, no. It's. You think your day's bad? In 2017, four former members of Ghost filed a lawsuit against Tobias Forge, and they accused him of cheating them out of their rightful share of the profits from the group's album releases and world tours. Now, before this, nobody knew who Tobias Forge was
Mm.
because he always had the makeup and did different stuff. Like they just, his identity was not known.
Mm.
And with the lawsuit, of course, his name shows up on the lawsuit. And now the veil is lifted. He doesn't have any mystery anymore. So the band gets a lot of exposure, right? Tobias gets a lot of exposure. Um, it's kind of a tumultuous time. Um, Thankfully, though, uh, he filed a legal response. He asserted that they never had any sort of partnership, like officially, like legally. So they have no basis on making these claims. And the court did rule in favor of Tobias Forge. The four band members paid him in court fees. Um, I mean, it's like if when I play piano, like I'm learning like the Interstellar song right now, and like
Mm.
it's like if I play it and I'm like, "Hey Hans Zimmer, I should get some of those profits because I play it now."
Mm.
It doesn't make a lot of sense,
It's
right? I
just
think that's
being
a
money hungry.
yeah, I think that was a bad analogy, but you get what I mean. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't contribute to the album, like if you're just performing, then like if they contributed to the album and they weren't getting their cut, okay. But since you were just being hired to perform, that's a whole other thing. Like
Right.
it's not the same. So, and a lot of people, I think that helped Tobias quite a bit too because at first they're like, who is this guy not paying people? You know how the internet is. They
Mm.
just like get in a tizzy. So, I wanted to talk about that because the next era, the next album, I think the theme kind of I don't know when he wrote the songs, but it seems like this whole ordeal kind of shows up in it. So, but anyways, we need a new papa, right? So they start doing a series on YouTube of just like chapter videos, which are still going, by the way. Chapter 18 came out on Monday to announce that new tour that they're going on. So chapters 1 and 2 were from this time period where Sister Imperator and Papa Nihil are talking about like we need a new Papa, we need a new front runner, we need someone young, energetic. But he's like, but I don't have any more sons. She's like, I know, but I have this guy. I think he's gonna do great. And she introduces this guy, Cardinal Copia. who is also Tobias Forge. I think this is like uh probably the most well-known version. When I went to see them, I didn't see him as Cardinal. I saw him. Oh, I'm giving spoilers. Never mind. Never mind. Ha ha ha.
Dang
Anyways,
it!
so Cardinal Copia is announced. He takes the stage in 2018. Um, and also in 2018, just a little bit later, they released their third episode of this chapter series. It's
Mm.
called Back on the Road. And in that episode, the other Emeritus brothers are playing Uno, which is super dope, by the way. They're playing Uno and they all get injected with poison and they are all dead. And someone in the comments can tell me because I could not find this information. The only thing I found was on like a ghost wiki fandom page, which said that Sister Imperator had them killed, but I don't see any other evidence that she did that. Um, I know Tobias talked about how he figured that swapping out papas every couple of years is going to get stale.
Mm.
So he wanted to kind of like clean the slate
Mm.
and develop this Cardinal Copia character some more. So backstory for that. And then uh, Cardinal Copia also, we're going to talk about him quite a bit because he's got an interesting story. So now we're in era number 4. This is 2018 to 2020. The album that came out is called Prequel. I love this album. I love this album cover. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, it looks
The
really cool.
first, yeah, it's super cool. The first song, the first Ghost song I ever listened to was off of this album. It's called Rats. They go Rats, which, speaking of, the theme of this album is surviving through a tumultuous time of your existence being threatened. And I don't know. Again, I don't know when he wrote these songs, but
Mm.
since it came out in 2018 and the lawsuit was in 2017, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's too much of a coincidence. He also wanted to make a record about the plague and the Black Death, which is I think where Rats comes from. But yeah, it's a great album. And have this slide. Uh
Play the cool clip for Vicky.
Yeah. So this is a clip because I can explain what happens while they're touring, or I can just show you. I think showing you is going to be better. So let me put up my.
Why do you have 9+ notifications for Discord? Clear up your Discord notifications, please.
Hey, leave me alone. Leave me alone. It's always looked like that.
I'm so sorry.
Every other what's funny though? Every other platform, I'm a lot better about notifications, but Discord, I'm just like, because I don't know where they come from. So I'm like, whatever. If they need me,
You just tap on the server and press mark all red.
would that make you feel better if I did that?
Yeah, right now. Stop this presentation. Pull up your
All
Discord.
right.
I'm just kidding. Go.
Yeah, anyways. So, uh during this tour, Papa Nihil has a saxophone solo during the
Hmm.
song called Miasma. So, we're just going to watch his solo a little
Does he
bit.
die?
I don't know.
I'm not reading the title at
The
all.
title totally says it. But anyways, yeah. So he just collapsed,
Mm.
right? So that's
It
crazy.
went to smoke?
And
Became smoke?
no, he just collapses and dies. But the smoke is kind of like a
Ah, okay,
oh
okay.
no. And then this is so I like this because he's so funny. In the like episodes, he rides around the clergy building or the ministry building like in a trice on a little tricycle and
Like the Saw character.
kinda, yeah, but he's just like goofy and like Papa Nihil doesn't really like because he just thinks he's so goofy. But yeah, so he rides in on this tricycle and he's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh no, I guess he's dead. That sucks." And then he's like, "Guess I'm in charge now." So the guy that's screaming no,
Oh, I
just
don't hear
listen.
any volume.
Oh, you don't hear it?
I thought you muted it for a reason, so this whole time there's been no sound. I
Oh,
thought you had it because
well,
of copyright issues.
no,
Oh
I
yeah, there's
didn't.
no.
I don't know how to. Hold on, let me see. I don't know how it works. Uh, IT stuff. Well, I'm just trying to see if there's a button. Let me do stop presenting and let me try it again. Screen. So it allows me to present my screen, but it doesn't give me the option anything about audio.
Do I have to put it up on my end? Hold on. You
I
can't
don't know.
unmute someone else's presentation. It says your presentation's
Oh, it
muted.
says I'm muted?
The presentation's
Oh.
muted, yeah.
It also tells me you can't unmute someone else's presentation, but I'm like, I'm
But if you
doing the
press on the
presentation.
bottom, the three, like, where it says people, bottom right,
Yeah.
you see
Oh,
how.
yeah, I do see that.
Can you unmute
All I
from
can
that?
do is unpin or remove from the call.
Cool.
Hmm. I wonder which one it is. Well, honestly, it's not like a huge. Can I raise my hand? I have my hand raised.
Me too.
It sounds like you've said something, so your hand will be lowered, is what Google Meet told me. I'm like,
Google
you
Meet is like, all right, I'm
stupid.
done with your shit.
You stupid. Um, it's not a big deal, although it is really funny. The guy, he's as this is happening, he's like, no, no, Papa.
Like the guy recording it?
Yeah, in the crowd. Um, but what's cool is as this is playing, um, oh my God, him screaming is so loud. But the song that's playing is Arrival by ABBA, which I think is really cool because Tobias is also from Sweden. And then all the nuns come and he's like doing his little shoo-ba-doo ba-doo ba-da ba-doo. Oh, and then yay, he's in his Papa robes. So now he's officially Papa Emeritus the Fourth. So yeah, they do this transformation on stage. And this is the one that I saw when I saw them live. And I didn't want to spoil that because I was like, oh, Vicky only knows him as a cardinal, so I can't spoil that. Hello? Is the call? I was like, is the call still happening? Or,
You just hear bling. Wait, you
okay.
saw them at Swedish Rock?
Yeah, Sweden Rock, yeah.
Sweden Rock?
Yeah, it was cool. They were headlining on I think it was the last day, and it was so much fun. Like I was singing the songs on the bus ride home, and I think my friend and I were singing the songs, and I think everybody hated us. Mm.
You're one of those people.
I might have had a couple of drinks, so I was in good spirits that evening because it was so good. Like I'd watch them again. They're very good performers. Um, so now we have Papa Emeritus the fourth, and we have moved on to era number 5, which is 2020 until now. So the two albums that came out were Impera. That's the album that you see on the left. Another awesome album cover.
Mm.
That theme is the rise and fall of empires. And then Phantomime, which is the album cover on the right, also super cool looking. This one is actually an EP that is all cover songs. But I do want to talk about it because there's a song in there that we're gonna dive into a little bit. So September 19th, 2020, I want to say, because they took a little bit of a pause in those chapter YouTube videos.
Mm.
They released a new one with Sister Imperator, and Papa the Fourth, revealing their new looks. They said it was due to plastic surgery. So I think he had like a new prosthetic made, and then like Sister Imperator has like something on her nose. But It's kind of funny because it was during COVID, so they do like a Zoom call, but they don't call it Zoom, they call it Doom. And I was like, ooh, that's so
Ooh, I did have a
clever.
question
Yeah.
about the sister.
Uh-huh.
She's been around since 1969 in the lore.
Yeah, she's really old at this point.
Okay, so like she looks really old in like when they show her now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, she's like an old lady now.
okay.
So in 1969, she's like very youthful.
Mm.
Um, I didn't have a good picture of her, but you saw the side of her
Yeah, I
face.
saw that.
Yeah. And same with Papa Nihil. So they're both pretty old
Yeah. Okay.
at this point. And I do know that in the chapter videos, they did swap the actress that played her a couple times. I don't recall if they ever explained that or not, or if it was
Mm.
just had to hire someone else or something like that.
Mm.
Again, someone in the comments can speak up if they know. But um, so an interesting thing that these videos dive into, we don't know who Cardinal Copia's parents are, or I'm just gonna keep calling him Copia versus Papa because it'll be easier because there's been other Papas. But as you saw, he does have a blue eye or a white eye.
Yeah.
So he has the bloodline, but Papa Nihil doesn't seem to think that he's his son. But in these videos, Sister Imperator a couple times kind of hints that she's Copia's mother.
Mm.
In that video, in that episode where they did that Doom call, she's like, "Oh, as your mother, as someone who loves you," that's what she said. She like
Mm.
corrected herself. Um, and then in the episode after that, she's like, "Well, you'll always be my little C. You'll always be my little Cardi," which is like also super affectionate thing to say to someone who's not your son. So she drops those hints, but it is not ever confirmed. Um, and as the chapters go on, you see a new character show up, and that's this guy. It was hard to find a good picture of him, mainly because there's like only just like shots of him from the videos. But his name is Mr. Soltarian. We don't know his motives, we don't really know his purpose, but what he does do is he is working with Copia to like train him as like Papa Emeritus. But he also warns Copia that he knows when his time is up, kind of insinuating that Copia might be killed off or replaced because we've cycled through several papas by now. So the fans are like in a tizzy about it.
Mm.
Then the next episode, there's this is a screenshot from the video where Soltarian is rolling out a coffin and Copia see this is like Copia's POV right here.
Mm.
And Copia is like, hey, Sister Imperator, are we doing spring cleaning or is this an old coffin? And she's like, oh, no, no, it's a new one, but you don't have to worry about it, which also freaked people out because they're like, what's going to happen? Because Copia, I mean, as you saw, like he rode in on a tricycle on stage. He's very, he loves being on stage. He's very energetic, very charismatic. So he is struggling with this because he's like, why would they want to get rid of me? Like I'm doing so well. Like, so the chapters are hinting at this. Now we're moving on to 2023. Ghost starts to mention an upcoming project. There, a billboard gets put up with Papa's face on it, and it says Jesus is coming. and the date
Yay.
says April 9th. And a few days before April 9th, there's a tease about Jesus talk with Jim DeFrock. And Jim DeFrock, you can see on the slide, he's like a parody preacher guy. And on April 9th, he does a live stream where he talks about satanic themes in music and like kind of, hinting at like Ghost, the band, right? And
Mm.
after this live stream their new song, Jesus He Knows Me, which is actually not a Ghost song. It's a cover of a Genesis song from like, gosh, I don't know when it came out, if it was the 70s or the 80s. But that song, the music video comes out And the music video has Jim DeFrock in it, and he like in the video he like does a little sermon, collects all the money, and then at night like blows all the money on like drugs and hookers and stuff, which is like, kind of insinuating like he's not as holy as you think.
Mm.
Um alongside with this music video, Ghost announced that they're going to release Phantomime. So Jesus He Knows Me is a single off of Phantomime, and that's why I brought it up because I thought it was very interesting. Because you do see Jim DeFrock once again, and he advertises the Right Here, Right Now movie. And this is actually like the little advertisement that you see. So it says, "Are you on the level?" Which is a line from one of Ghost's songs. And, he does a little broadcast, and in his broadcast he's like, "Hey, you guys have probably heard that there's this movie coming out called Right Here Right Now by Ghost. Like it's satanic, you need to avoid it." And like sometimes during the broadcast it would like cut out, he'd also would go like like he was sniffing coke. And then sometimes as he's talking it would like glitch out and you would see Papa's face. So I think I don't think that I think he like actually works with Ghost. And this is like my theory, by the way. I'm just saying this is not a lore confirmed thing. I didn't even research this. This is just based off of what I saw. This is my fan theory that Jim DeFrock is actually employed by the clergy as like it's like a reverse psychology type thing where they're
Mm.
like, "Oh, let's tell people not to do it," and then they'll do it anyways. Um from the lore perspective. So we'll see. But anyway, so yeah, he advertises the movie in that way, saying like, avoid it, it's bad. And then now we're going to talk about the movie in June of this year because it covers quite a bit of stuff. So I think I mentioned this in the beginning, but it's a concert, and the theme of this like movie is that Copia is struggling with the fact that he might become replaced.
Mm.
Um, so he goes backstage and after a song, and he is bickering with Papa Nihil. So even though Papa Nihil is dead, he sees Papa Nihil's ghost all the time, and they just like talk like normal. um,
Yeah, that's
Nihil
normal.
mentions, yeah, no big deal. Just ghost things. Um, Nihil mentions how he recorded a third song. He's like, because remember how originally that first album that came out, 7 Inches of Satanic Panic, those were the two Papa Nihil songs. But he
Mm.
actually said, "Oh no, I made a third one." And Copia's like, "Ugh, I don't have time to learn a third song right now." And Nihil's like, "Don't worry, you're not gonna have to learn it." Which also kind of is like, wait, why wouldn't I? I'm the front man. And so that was a kind of what's going on here. Then he goes and performs. He comes back, and then Nihil actually gives him a bit of a pep talk. And then Copia says, "Thanks, Dad," which is the first time he acknowledges Nihil as his father. So this is interesting because I think that actually Nihil is his father, but he didn't know. And I think that Copia is that son from when Sister Imperator stormed off at that concert when she saw Nihil like kind of cheating on her.
Mm.
So she just hid this whole kid away from him. That's what I think
But
happened.
that was in
Uh
1969, right?
yeah.
It would make him like 50 something years old.
Well, that's okay. 50 is okay.
Yeah, my parents are thriving.
Yeah. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe.
Why are you looking down
Dang.
like that?
Well, I'm just sad
Why?
because
Why are you
thought I
being
was so
weird?
smart. No, I thought I was so smart with this theory, but I didn't think about the timeline. Now I feel dumb. I didn't even think about that.
I'm sorry
Um,
I brought that up.
no, no, it's actually good because that's a good point. Then I don't know. Damn. Well, anyways, I think she hid Copia from Nihil regardless of what time it happened. Maybe he could be 50.
Yeah, people look at my parents. They look great for
Yeah,
50.
they
Like
look great for
you wouldn't know
50.
they were like 50. You would think 40.
Okay, yeah. No, no,
Here you
no.
go. Here
My
you
theory still
go.
stands. Not me gaslighting myself. What the hell? I'm a pro. Oh man, I don't need anyone to gaslight me. I'd do that great.
Right?
But yeah, anyways, he says thanks, Dad, and I think that they are his parents. He just didn't really know. Um, then he goes and performs Mary on a Cross, and when
I
he's
know that song.
performing that, yeah, and when he's performing that, we see an animated music video. And this is the screen. This is a screenshot from it because Sister Imperator and Nihil have fun in a coffin, with a pentagram
What
around it.
kind of fun?
Um, when two adults love each other. um, but I wonder if this is when Copia was born, and Copia
Well,
is like,
if you understand how that works, it takes like 9 months.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying like when Copia was conceived, it was on a pentagram, so maybe like he's
The
the
Antichrist?
Antichrist, yeah, or like
Antichrist?
I don't know, something like that.
Maybe he's
Why
on
would
that cover.
maybe yo he nibbles his toes. He a little freak.
Oh, a toe nibbler.
That's nasty.
Ooh, brother. Ooh.
Brother. Ooh. Anyways, I don't know. I just think I don't know. There's a lot of focus on Copia, so it makes me think that there's more to the story. And this next slide, pay attention.
Okay,
Some shit happens.
looks
So
like
the
the
concert
Joker.
ends. He does kind of look like the Joker in this, doesn't he?
Mm,
Yeah. Um, the concert ends.
mm.
He walks off stage and goes into a hot air balloon that starts flying away. As it flies away, there's flashbacks of Sister Imperator, Nihil cheating, and a child. But not one child, two twins.
Mm.
They grow up together. Then you see a flash of Romulus and Remus from mythology. Then
Who's
you
that?
hear a Romulus and Remus are think it's I want to say it's Greek or Roman, one of those, but they're basically brothers. The theme of that story is brothers who butt heads.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Um and then you hear a thud. Copia wakes up. He was never in a hot air balloon. He was disassociating because Sister Imperator is dead on the floor. Crazy.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. His mom is dead. He's like, ah, Mr. Solitary. He doesn't make that sound.
Can we find the clip of him making that?
He's like
You
that
just
guy who's
find
like,
the clip and
ah!
no. You find the clip, edit in your voice, going ah.
Hell yeah. No context either. I'll just do that as a short. Um, Mr. Salitarian gives him a letter, and it's a letter from Sister Imperator, and she apologizes for hiding her illness from him. She didn't want to break his focus. She's like, yeah, you had this big tour, then there's a movie, like you needed to stay focused on the cause. But hey, congrats. Now you're the new head of the clergy. You are now Brother Imperator or Frater Imperator, which is a big deal. And then it explains all the weird behavior because she was sick and hiding from it. Salitarian was training him, but not for him to be replaced, for him to take over. And then the like, oh, you're not going to have to perform because him as brother imperator, as the head of the clergy, you can't also be Papa Emeritus. You need to run the whole clergy,
Mm.
right? So credits roll and the song starts playing. It's called "The Future Is a Foreign Land," and that was the third Nihil song, and that was the new song that they released with this album or with this movie. Sorry, and the song is actually really beautiful because it almost sounds like when you listen to the lyrics, it sounds like it was recorded after he cheated on Sister Imperator, and it was like a love letter, an apology, like we could still be together and be happy and like live a long life, yada yada. So it's a great song. And then after the credits roll, you see the new brother Imperator and his new outfit at the ministry with the ghost of Papa Nihil and Sister Imperator waiting by him, and also two children. There's like these two little girls that they showed up in the first episode video, but I like don't know who they are, and no, but if somebody knows, just explain it because I should have just looked it up, but I don't even know who they are. They just kind of show up, but they're all waiting for Papa Emeritus the Fifth to show up. So then you cut to this scene where you see a silhouette and you see him walking up to the door, and then credits roll. We don't know who he is. Surprise, surprise.
Until 2025.
Until 2025. So that chapter 18 that just came out, it continues on like this, and they're like waiting, and then he tries to open the door and he can't open the door. It's locked. So they're like, "Ugh." And then it's so funny because then Sister Imperator, as a ghost, has a radio, and she's like, can you check on the door? And then Brother Imperator's like, you have a radio? Like, what the fuck? You're dead. Like, and then and then she's like, tell him about the tour. He's like, what tour? And then he announced the world tour.
That's great.
It's a great clip. It's very funny. But yeah, they are doing a world tour in the U.S. and Europe.
And that's it, because that's the world.
Because that's the world. Nothing else matters. Let's be real.
Right? I love when
Let's
people
be
do
very
world
serious.
tours and they only go to Europe and America.
Yeah, Europe and US. I think um I don't think they're going to Australia. I don't think so. No, I think it's just Europe. Well, it's funny because they have a pass. They have a clergy pass or a what is it? Member of the clergy pass,
Mm.
and it's $1,666.66, and you can go to as many concerts as you want with that pass. And they have a pass for the US, but also one for like Europe and the UK. And I was like, but the UK is in Europe. They're not in the EU, but
Yeah.
they're still part of Europe. I just thought that was funny that they differentiated
Are you
that.
gonna buy
But yeah,
that
I'm pretty
pass?
sure. Me?
Yeah.
Girl, no. That's way too expensive because I'd have to go to so many concerts to make it worth it. Like if you think about it, I'm double checking. But if you think about it, um you'd have like a concert ticket's like 200 bucks. So if you do what, 1600, that's like what, 15 concerts that you have to go to break even? That's too much.
And that's not counting like uh gas if you
Travel?
drive, yeah,
Yeah.
travel, hotels.
Yeah. Well, he said, okay, so it says World Tour 2025 UK. So yeah, they're going to UK, Germany, France. Yeah, so it's all Europe and then the US, but it says more dates to come. So it makes me wonder if they're going to go like beyond Europe. And they're gonna play at Madison Square Garden, which is a big deal.
Mm.
That's gonna be really cool. Their first time playing there, and I'm sure those tickets are gonna be insane.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal for a band to play there. So,
Mm.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, so where we're at with the lore right now is we don't know who Papa Emeritus the Fifth is. We also, when they announced that tour, they redacted the name of the tour. Usually, when they go on tour, it's like related to the album that's out.
Mm.
So they're definitely going to put out a new album. The tour starts in April, April 15th, 2025. So I'm sure they'll be teasing some stuff prior. They usually like to like release most bands, they'll release a couple singles here and there. So yeah, it's very exciting. But yeah, who's Papa Emeritus the Fifth? Who's Sister Imperator's second child? Because they showed the twins. Are they the same person?
And
We don't
who
know.
are you?
That's a long story. How much time do you need? Where are you? Yeah, so I don't know. I think the lore is very interesting. I'm invested now. I'm like, oh, I want to know who the new one's going to be. So once that's announced, wherever we're at with the podcast, I will be sure. Similar to 21 Pilots, I'm like,
Mm.
I'll announce it. I'll talk about it at the podcast. Um, there was an interesting theory which people thought Jim DeFrock might be the other son because Romulus and Remus had opposing opinions on things.
Mm,
So it'd be interesting to see like a preacher and then the guy who's in charge of a satanic cult be related.
that'd be interesting.
So it could be because he is just like a kind of random character that shows up.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that could be. I don't know. I don't know where he's gonna go with this. But I'm here for it, and I'm probably gonna go to that tour.
As you should. You
Yeah,
like them, so.
hell yeah, I'd watch them again. They're so good. And I'll be screaming, "Hail Satan!
This is not a cult! This is
This
not a
is not."
cult!
And I'm like, I'll one day we'll get on a call and I'll have a pamphlet. I'm like, "Hey, Vicky, can we talk?"
About our Lord
Promise.
and Savior,
Yeah,
the Antichrist.
the Antichrist. No, no. It's good music. I mean, it's interesting because it's like rock, but I don't think it's that heavy.
Mm.
You could definitely tell. I think he mentioned he was influenced by Metallica. Metallica, it's cool. They did a cover of Enter Sandman, which I actually don't like. It's one of
Mm.
their few songs that I don't like. I just don't like that cover. I'm sure people are gonna
Fake
rake me
fan.
over the.
Fake fan.
I just don't like it. I don't like how it rings. I don't like it. But there's a lot. I like most of their song, almost all their songs, but that one I'm like, "Ugh," I always skip it. But what's cool about that one is when they recorded that cover, Metallica had an album that was like just covers of their songs or something from all sorts of artists, and Ghost was put on there. So that was really cool. So yeah. Yeah, so I know he's been inspired by Metallica, a couple other like rock bands. But it's kind of like rock, almost pop fusion because I feel like even Mariana Cross is not very like heavy.
Mm-mm.
But they do have some songs where they have like some cool riffs, good drums. Um yeah, so I'm very curious how this album is gonna sound. I'm excited. Yay, new Ghost. Yay. So that's never mind.
What? What?
Nothing.
Say it.
Nothing.
Say it.
I didn't say anything.
You started saying something, then you stopped.
Then I changed my mind
Finish
because
your thought.
sometimes it's better to stay quiet.
Why? Why?
Let
Why?
this be a lesson,
What
kids.
were you gonna say?
Don't even remember anymore. It
Yeah,
left my
sure,
mind.
sure.
Gone like the wind. But yeah, I feel like this was a good episode to talk about on Halloween.
Mm?
It's
Too bad we
very,
didn't
very
dress up.
spooky. Yeah, I told you I dressed up like a clown, so I don't know.
We should have put on some clown makeup.
I don't need makeup. Just look at me. I am. I feel like a clown. I look in the mirror. I'm like, damn, clowning today. No, I am dressed up. I'm dressed up as a cult member.
Oh my god. You mean not a cult?
All right, not a cult. Guys, there's going to be some information in the description about how to learn more. Imagine. No, no, they're chill. You don't have to worry about them.
That's what a cult
Actually,
member says.
actually, I am gonna of all the mashups I've done, I realized the most I've done two mashups with Ghost. No, three. And I'm gonna do a fourth one soon.
About for with what?
Chapel Roan, another Chapel Roan one. It's pretty good. It's actually done. I just need to make the thumbnail. And I have this idea. There's this picture of Chapel. She looks kind of gothy, so I'm gonna put like the makeup on her to make her look like Papa.
Hmm, that's cool.
Yeah, and that way it'll be eye-catching. So, yeah, it all yeah, no one's gonna want to listen to my mashup, so I won't even.
Hello?
Hello. Oh, right. Yeah, I should advertise. I have a mashups channel.
There you
Um,
go. This is our channel. You can
y-
advertise
y-
yourself.
yeah, if you guys like mashups, you should check it out. I do have a couple with Ghost songs. I have one Ghost and Lady Gaga. I have one Ghost and
So
Avenged
link one
Sevenfold.
down below, your favorite one, so they can go listen.
But I don't have a favorite. They're
Oh
like
my
I
god.
like them all. I do. Of the Ghost ones, I like all of them.
One has to be your favorite. It's like when a parent says they don't have favorites. We all know
I
they
don't
do.
know because it depends on the day. Some day I want to listen to the Gaga one. Other days I want to listen to the Chapel one. Just depends on my mood.
Sounding like an angsty teen.
You don't understand me. I'll pick one. Or maybe I'll put the Chapel one in there because it's the
Or
most
create a
recent.
playlist with them all and then post that link.
Can you be my manager? I'm so bad at marketing. Oh my God. I'm so bad at it. But yeah, we'll be back next week with another episode on some
I
topic
have no
in
idea
lore.
what topic. I still gotta.
I want to talk about either Melee at some point or Elder Scrolls, but I
Maybe
fear either of them are going to be really long. So I'm worried.
I'm not. I don't know. I'm thinking about like phasmophobia.
Ooh,
If there's like there's a
if
story
there's
there,
something. Yeah,
there
there's a
has
story. I don't know if
right.
there's more than just the story of the game itself.
Yeah,
But if you want like scary game, maybe Silent Hill.
I've never
Silent Hill is a
played
whole.
it, so I don't.
Oh, I mean, I haven't either. I just heard it's scary.
But you think all scary
Oh,
games are scary?
no, this one is like, because I was streaming and someone in my chat was like, "Have you ever played Silent Hill?" And I was playing Zelda, the new one, the like cute one,
Yeah, the la
and I was like,
da da.
not really my vibe, but I was like, I've played Phasmophobia and that scared me, and he's like, "Oh, you won't like Silent Hill. It's even scarier." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
There is
Not
one we can play where uh the monsters can hear your mic.
Isn't that Phasmophobia too? They can hear you. Remember, if they're hunting, you have to stay quiet. I know because I sit in the corner. I'm like, but yeah, that's Phasmo as well.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
because when
this
they're
other one
hunting,
looks
you have to
scarier.
stay quiet. Otherwise, if they can hear you, they find you very fast.
You would
Speaking
know.
from experience. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Phasmophobia has a Halloween special out right now.
Oh, would you look at the time? Well, we could play. If you want to play, I'll play.
Well, I'm gonna play maybe with Donkey tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay. Well, I hope you guys have fun.
yeah, we'll see. I don't. It's Halloween tomorrow. Today.
No, today.
You know, it's been 80 degrees here for Wednesday and Tuesday, and then tomorrow it drops
Wait,
to like 50
that's fine.
or Thursday. Things. Fuck, not
Wait,
Thanksgiving.
it was 80 yesterday?
Yeah,
Was it
here
warm?
it was like
Really?
high 81. Yeah.
Dang, that sucks. Oh, tomorrow it's gonna be 82 for us.
Yeah, tomorrow here it's like rainy and
Oh, we have sun.
well, you know, the kids are gonna trick or treat in the rain.
I don't care. I don't care about what kids do. I'm gonna get Taco Bell. That's gonna be my. I'm so excited. I'm
I'm
already
going
thinking about it.
to probably stream.
I'm going to live Moss.
I had
Oh,
Taco
and don't
Bell this
forget to.
past weekend.
Oh, nice. It's been a while for me, so it's a treat. Like a
And
couple weeks.
wait, don't forget what?
Huh?
Don't forget what?
Don't forget to watch the new Agatha episode.
Yeah, there's two today.
Oh,
It's the final.
best Halloween ever! Oh my gosh, I'm gonna watch both tomorrow. I mean today.
I'm gonna watch them all tonight when it comes out at 8.
It comes out at that's like 9 p.m. That's so
Yeah.
late.
Yeah, so for me, it's
I'll
perfect
be
timing because I go to
I'm
bed
gonna
at
start my
9,
nights. Yeah, for me it's like bedtime. But
so
no,
I'll
I'll
stay up
I'll
a
get
little.
my Taco Bell. I'll
Mhm.
watch my Agatha, and then maybe I'll watch Nightmare Before Christmas. I didn't know it was 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's the final finale.
Ooh, so excited. Maybe I'll watch your stream a little too.
Thanks, homie. So we gonna end this
No,
podcast?
it's gonna talk forever. Sometimes we forget. It's so funny. Well, it's because we know each other and
Yeah.
we just, the conversation just flows. It's part of what? It's part of being a podcast though. Like it's okay to talk.
Okay,
It's
so
fine.
let's talk about Rocky. You know, it was National Cat Day the other day, and no one brought gifts to him.
Wait, when was Cat Day? I didn't even
I think it
know.
was yesterday.
Oh my God, I'm going on Amazon right now. My
You
king. Oh my God. Do you think if I got him a crown that he'd wear it?
no. I've
Oh.
tried costumes. He
What
doesn't like
about a
wearing them.
cape?
He can deal with capes. I've had him in the Attack on Titans cape.
Aw. Maybe like a regal one so he could look like a little king. I'll think of something. Ooh, I want to get him. I'll send him something. I'll send it on Amazon. I know where you live.
What?
You just see like a giant box. I'm like, for Rocky, my
For the
king.
king.
I could see your mom being like, what the who ordered this?
Shannon was all like, "We're gonna get him a gym membership," so I sent a buff cat.
Aww. He's just big
Yeah,
boned.
he's just thick with three C's.
Yeah, he dummy thick.
Hmm.
Anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know your thoughts about Ghost in the comments. If you love the band, if you hate the band, anything that I missed. I try to do the best research that I could in the short time that I had. My mashup collective that I'm a part of decided to release an album for the first we did nothing for months and all of a sudden they're like, let's do this on October 30th. And I'm like, ah! So I
You're
was
like,
like,
"Whoa."
yeah, I was like preparing this and then working on that but it's out now and so if you guys like R&B, that's such a pivot. Like if you're watching this video and you like Ghost,
They're
you're
like,
like,
we already stopped watching a while ago.
yeah, they're like, we don't even, but it's an R&B album and you'll see the channel the video I link, the Ghost one. You can find my mashup in there. And then if you like that, you can listen to the rest of the album because there's some really talented artists on there that worked on this project. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy your Halloween. Stay spooky and bye.
Bye.